And for further analysis, we're joined from Cairo by the political analyst, Mr. Maher Safi. Mr. Maher, thank you so much for joining us on Qnews. And first off, what do you think are the main reasons for Yair Lapid's assertion that the return of detainees from Gaza should be Israel's top priority?
Good evening to you and to your audience. The Israeli expansion to regain the prisoners at in Gaza, it won't do any work because Netanyahu is not convinced with the negotiation by Egypt and Qatar for the sake of making a deal, a ceasefire, and the withdrawal of the army from the occupied area in Gaza Strip and allow of the entry of medical and humanitarian aids to the Gaza that is suffering from a siege for the last 2 months. But the return of the detainees it's only by the Israeli deeds by bombardment and they might be killed as it happened before. So negotiations is the ultimate solution for the return of the detainees, despite the demonstrations in Israel, but they failed. Why? Because Netanyahu and the Smotrich consider the detainees and the hostages aren't important, but the most importantly the pressure and the occupation and more annexation of the Palestinian territories in the Gaza Strip and the expansion of the operation ratified by the Israeli cabinet. So Netanyahu and the Minister of the Army, Chief of Staff, all those leaders calling for the prolonging the war, they are not concerned about the release of the hostages through the negotiation and that took place
Yes,
in
sir.
the first round of negotiation as Netanyahu
Sir,
wants.
sorry for cutting in, but speaking of this point specifically, with the Israeli government facing mounting pressure from the public, claiming that Netanyahu is delaying the return of detainees for political reasons, what impact could this have on Israeli politics?
Firstly, Netanyahu is prolonging the war. Why? Because he knows very well that he did not achieve the main goal of the war, which is the eradication of Hamas, and he admitted it. Even this now is pressuring Hamas and hence to release the detainees. So the importance of his political status and his personal identity as suffering that he is charged by the judges and along with the pressures of the within the Israel that affected Netanyahu politically. And if he would have finished the war previously, he would have lost his political position and his majority of supporters. So what's happening in the far right coalition that's calling for more settlement, occupation and destruction as they do not wish to fall due to the war and entering a calm and the withdrawal of the army, as there are several accusations and cases that pursued the government. They are responsible of what happened in the October 7th, 2023. All of the security apparatus held in the Israeli cabinet their responsibility in maintaining peace and safety in the enclave that cited the chief that he will going to resign in the next months.
Now, sir, integrating Trump administration into our discussion, what is the potential role of international pressure, specifically from President Trump, in influencing Israel's strategy regarding the detainees and its ongoing military operations in Gaza?
You mean President Trump?
Yes, President Trump applying pressure on the Israeli government.
I think that the U.S. administration that gave the green light in the first place to Israel and used the veto and provided Israel with arms. So Biden, or rather President Trump, is capable to end the war by only phone call to Netanyahu to end this massacre and slaughtering. Otherwise, Netanyahu is moving forward by the military assistance and the support. President Trump has a great influence, and I think before making a visit to the region, specifically in Saudi Arabia in the May, so we'll have some sort of a breakthrough with respect to the negotiation and the release of detainees in return of a ceasefire, opening the crossing, as well as delivering the humanitarian aid. So we might see some sort of a truce in order to pave the region, the way for an upcoming packages of resolution from him personally with regards to the Middle East.
Mhm. From Cairo, that was the political analyst, Mr. Maher Safi. Thank you so much for joining us here on Q News.